everyone, welcome back to Obsessive Prepper AZ. Today I want to do a quick little recipe for you, super easy to do. If you're new to prepping or you're new to my channel, hey, I'm a prepper. I prep for any occasion, be it a natural disaster, medical, the pandemic, quarantines, who knows, doomsday, we don't know. And what I try to show you how is to easily build your food preps up, have a well-stocked pantry, so in case of those little hiccups that come our way through life, it doesn't have to be a zombie apocalypse. It could be just the fact that you lost your job and you have no income coming in. So I try to show you steps on how to build your pantry. Now what I want to do here is a quick little stew, and the reason why I started this is I have got a ton of turkey. I couldn't pass up the deals after Thanksgiving to purchase another turkey, 20 pounds for $13, so I went ahead and baked a turkey off. But it got me thinking, the stew recipe I'm making, I wanted to show you of what you could possibly do if a SHTF situation happened, how you could feed your family, not off of fresh turkey. But if you know how to pressure can and you have canned chicken or turkey that you have, super easy to do. I've got videos on how to pressure can your own chicken. I know it looks kind of funky, but it is super yummy in there and easy to make a meal. Now, let's just say you don't want a pressure can, or you don't have the finances to buy the jars and the pressure canner. You know that there's cans of turkey, cans of chicken, so you could also use that. At the end of this, I'll have a video showing you what I'm doing with my turkey here. Now, in my turkey stew that I'm making, I'm going to use my box rice. I have videos on how to make this shelf stable, putting it in jars, mason jars, things like that, so that it will last so much longer, possibly Mylar bags. But I've got a box of wild rice, rice-a-roni that we're going to put in. Another item that we're going to do is, if let's just say you don't have fresh vegetables, you don't have anything, if you have a dehydrator and you dehydrate your own mixed vegetables, then you can put that in your stew. Super yummy. When they're reconstituted, they're excellent. I highly suggest, if you don't do it, get a dehydrator and start dehydrating your own vegetables. These vegetables will last 20 plus years in their mason jars, Mylar bags, just like they are. And it's a way to feed your family. Now, in our preps, in our pantry, I discuss evaporated milk and having some kind of chicken stocks on hand. So evaporated milk is going to go into my stew. I also have a video out on onions. Let's say you have diced onions that are dehydrated. That would work out great too. But I also have a video out showing you how to store your onions, whole fresh onions, and get the longest shelf life for them. I have got, the last video I did was a month and a half ago, and I just reached into my pantry to get another onion. I've still got about 20 onions. I'll take a picture. They're almost 7 months old. So I highly recommend to go over and check that video out. So I'm going to go ahead and get cooking. I'm going to use my regular turkey because to me that is what I need to use up. But like I said, think of these other things in your pantry to make a great meal in an SHTF situation, or let's call it you just get home from work, you're out of time and you need an easy meal. So come along with me and I'll show you what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with some olive oil in my pan here. And we're going to just do a simple saute of our onions. Get all those in. This is a whole onion. I like onion. Do and cook for your family what makes you happy. So the next thing, we've got our mixed vegetables here. I'm going to go ahead and put in, I'm going to call it, it's about a cup. And then I'm going to add enough water so it can reconstitute. Now on the mixed vegetables, you do not want to put them in your pan with salt because that will hinder their getting the liquid into the vegetable. So I'm going to go ahead, if you're going to do this, you don't have power, then before you saute your onions, get the water boiling and reconstitute your vegetables that way. But we have power, so I'm going to go ahead and put it in my microwave for a couple minutes and let those go. Get this cleaned up, out of the way. As this cooks, I'm going to add some butter. I'm bad on measurements. I just kind of do what I like, what I think I want. I may add more to it. If you have an issue with the cholesterol, then don't use the butter. So as this is cooking down, I'm going to go ahead and rough slice some celery. Now, if you don't have celery, then you could use dried celery, or you could use celery seed, celery salt, Mrs. Dash. So I kind of throw different ideas out there for you. So in case for some reason you don't have these in your refrigerator, or it really is an SHTF situation, other possibilities to make this meal bigger, taste flavorful. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that in there. And we're going to let this saute down. All right, vegetables 2 minutes into the microwave. I'm going to go ahead and cook them at 2 more minutes, so a total of 4 minutes in my microwave. Big fan of Lowry's garlic salt. I really use this for everything in every recipe. If you can't handle the salt, I get hit hard from people that watch my videos. Salt, salt, salt. Well, I like salt. I don't have an issue with it. I get tested all the time. My blood and my salt intake is perfectly fine. So if you can't use salt, then use the garlic powder or fresh garlic, which I always add garlic to. If you have cloves, that's great. I'm trying to make this super easy for you. We've got pepper. I take the lid off because I like my pepper. And again, I'm bad on measurements. You can see I just kind of guess it as I go. All right, next thing I'm going to add is some thyme, some dried thyme, just a pinch full of it. And I squeeze it in my fingers to break it down to release the oils that is in it. I'm going to add a bay leaf to it. And a healthy pinch of sage. And I'm not putting my seasonings away because I always keep seasoning. Don't just go off of this. Don't over season at the first. Taste everything once it's together, then keep adding layers of yumminess of seasonings. So this is pretty much down. Woo, my mixed vegetables are hot. So I'm going to go ahead and let these seep while I get everything else together. You can see that they're already starting to grow. Leave this off to the side. I'm going to go ahead and add my box of rice-a-roni and the seasoning packet. Get that in there. And we're going to put our rice-a-roni in it because you brown your rice-a-roni. Why, I don't know. That's what they tell you to do, and I don't know. That's what I've always done. Another one of my favorite seasonings is the Morton's Nature's Seasoning. I'm going to put a sprinkle of that in there. Okay, let's talk chicken stock here. You could do your canned chicken stock something like this, or your fresh if you do your own. You could put something like this in with the water, the Nor Pollo. So it really is up to you. I am going to go ahead and add some water in because I know I need to get it in there. Get it in, scrape my bottom of my pan. That gets all the brown pieces up into your liquid. That was probably, I don't know, a couple cups that I added. I'm going to go ahead and add 1 can of my chicken stock. Again, I know a lot of salt. Get sodium free if you can't handle the salt. I'm just going to sit here and chop up, just rough chop my turkey, put it into my pot here. That doesn't need to be chopped. I always purchase extra turkeys because I love being able to make easy meals. Another go-to seasoning that I always have on hand. I always have this in my food stores. Worcestershire stores for such a long time, and it is a great thing that doesn't expire, gets better with age, so I always recommend to have this in your food preps. And I will just take it and I will do a decent amount, let's call it 1/8 of a cup of Worcestershire sauce. If you have fresh potatoes and you just want to add, I would cut these in half after you've cleaned them, add them to your stock, your stew mix. If you have russet potatoes, that'll work great. Let's say you don't have any potatoes, but now you have pressure canned your own potatoes. Then we will drain these and we will add this to our stock stew mixture. So easy to have this. I have 20 quarts on hand. I did the other night, and it's just so easy that you're not always having to run and look for potatoes, and then they have sprouts coming out of them and they're no good. But because I already have them on hand, I'm going to go ahead and dice up my little potatoes and get those used up. Use again what you have, and you always want to think about what's easy, quick. A bad situation where you need food on hand. So if you don't want to can your own potatoes, I've got tons of videos that I talk about purchasing canned potatoes. They come diced, whole, slice, super easy. You can have dehydrated potatoes to this, whatever works for you. So I'm going to go ahead and get these sliced up and in my mix here. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my mixed vegetables into my stew mix. I'm going to even pour the liquid into it because that's got a ton of flavor now. And stir this. Going to go ahead and let this cook for a little while. Alrighty, it's been cooking for about 10 minutes now. I'm going to go ahead and taste my broth. Turn my temperature down a teeny bit. Okay, on my broth, I'm going to go ahead and add probably close to a teaspoon. Let's see if I can get this better here for you. Oh. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and put in about a teaspoon to 2 teaspoons of this Knorr chicken pollo mix seasoning. This also has a lot of salt, so be careful when you use it. Next item I'm going to add is my dehydrated mushrooms. This is all about using your preps, your food storage, and if you're going to dehydrate, you're looking for a longer shelf life, I always tell everybody to use their food preps. Rotate it. If you get to the point where you know you're running out, then dehydrate some more for your stores. You never want to completely run out and then not have it. Now by having your dehydrated mushrooms, the flavor that it is going to add to your mixture here is just amazing. It will be foresty tasting, just like you have for the turkey and the wild rice. I just love my dehydrated vegetables. It makes it so much easier and you're not clogging your freezer. A lot of people will ask me, why don't I just have freezers full of this stuff? Because there's only so much space that you can have in a freezer. And half the time, if I put it in the freezer, I'm not using it. I'm not a big freezer food kind of person. So this is the best way that I have food that never goes bad, by having dehydrated vegetables. So I'm going to go ahead and let this cook for about 20 minutes. In about 10 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and look at it, see if I need to add any more liquid to it. Remember, you're using dehydrated vegetables, you're using your rice, so that is going to suck up a lot of that moisture. So in about 10 minutes, I'll come over and I'll check it out and see what else I need to do. So we're at 10 minutes now. Get rid of my lid here for a second. I'm going to give this a try as far as my broth is concerned. Oh my goodness. Normally I would add seasonings to it, but I am good. My moisture content, I'm thinking maybe I need to go ahead and put a little bit more water. And this is really just by eye, how much water you want in it. If you want a thicker chowder, at the very end, you could take a cornstarch and water slurry to thicken up. And I'm going to go ahead now and put the lid back on it and let it cook another probably 10, maybe 20 minutes. So we are 20 minutes in here. I'm going to turn this down just a bit onto low. Looking good. Now the next ingredient I'm going to add is a can of my evaporated milk. If you don't want to use your milk, I always try to give you suggestions. If you have powdered milk, you could use that. Heavy cream is always the way to go as far as I'm concerned. And I'm just going to go ahead and add this whole can in to my mixture here. Now I'm going to go ahead at this point and just leave my lid off because I want some of my liquid to go up into the atmosphere, condensate. I don't want this much liquid in. I'm going to let it cook down for probably another 20 minutes. Now if you wanted to hurry this up, again like I had said, you can always add a cornstarch slurry mix to this to thicken it up. But I'm going to go ahead and let mine cook. Well, you can see that most of my liquid is completely cooked out. I did that on purpose. Again, if you just wanted to eat this like this, it would be so yummy, so yummy. But I am not living in an SHTF world. I am living where I can get, heavy whipping cream. I am going to go ahead and add probably a half a cup. Add just a little bit more. Why? Because I can. It'll make it super yummy. I hate it when my camera gets out of whack and you can't see what's going on. And I'm just going to go ahead and let this cook for another 5 minutes. Now you can make this meal so much quicker if you wanted to by cooking it on a high heat. I don't like to because I want all my flavors to blend. I want that bay leaf that I put in there to flavor up my stew. And now all I'm doing is just going to let this on low, very low temperature, and I'm going to wait till my husband gets in and he's going to try it out for us. Well, our stew is completely done. I must be like the worst wife because I've been waiting the last hour for my husband to come home. Where's he at? Where's he at? I snuck a bowl. I snuck another bowl. I've ate 2 bowls of stew. Not big bowls, little bowls. while I was waiting for my husband. This turned out so wonderful. You know it's great when you keep going back for more. It turned out really, really yummy, and the mushrooms added so much more flavor to it. And yeah, so hopefully, I'm a bad wife, I'm telling you. Called my husband, where are you at? He's like, you know I have to work a double. And I'm like, no, I do not know you're working a double. My gosh, my bad. So anyways, I'm going to send him some bowls tomorrow for work, and hopefully he might have time to do a video and tell you what he thinks of the stew. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please subscribe. And if you want to be notified for future videos, ring the bell. I'm always trying to show you different ways to use your food preps to rotate your stock. I want you to not have to waste food. Don't want you to throw it away. I want you to be able to use it, rotate it, and then repurchase it. So again, have a blessed day.